Welcome to the Smart Thinking Podcast. This is my dad, Ted.
Welcome to the Smart Thinking Podcast. I'm your host, Ted Knightsky. Welcome to the last episode of this season. I've been thinking a lot about you all, and I wanted to wrap up the season, and I'm going to let her rip here with a couple of key reminders as we enter summer here in the U.S. The most important of all is to take a vacation. Now, before you pop off on me and send me notes that we aren't all in the season of life to take a vacation, I'm not necessarily talking about taking a trip. I'm talking about intentionally putting distance between yourself and some of the things in life that create significant distractions and get you off kilter on your values and mental wellness. In this season ender, I have 4 books and 1 significant expectation for you to help support your ability to learn, grow, and go. You see, the leaders in the world who are intentional about self-care, well, they tend to be better for others. A healthy mind, body, spirit, and soul make us really good for those we serve. Now, let's talk about what those 4 things mean and what they are, because your mind is your learning. Your body is your physical condition. Your spirit is your energy, and your soul, well, that's your conscience. You know, that little voice in your head and your heart. How you feel in all 4 realms is going to be important, and none of them can be ignored, which is why we need to be intentional about taking a vacation. Now, but before we get into this final episode, let's remind ourselves of a few key things. Number 1, every one of us is a leader, because a leader is anyone who has influence over another person, making each of us very, very, very important in the lives of everyone around us. It doesn't matter if you have situational or hierarchical authority or leadership. It is your actions, your reactions, your non-actions. Those are the things that make you a leader, because everyone is watching how you respond and react to things, and that is your influence. Show up with a positive attitude. Other people have a positive attitude. Show up ready to go and prepared. Well, other people feel the need to be ready to go and prepared. Show up with enthusiasm and energy and a real spirit. Well, people will follow. Now, a follower is like your left foot. You step forward with your right foot of leadership, and you step forward with the left foot of followership, meaning that there is a mission. There are other people involved. You can't just be out there solo by yourself. You have to follow along with the care principle, collaborating with others, holding yourselves accountable, being resilient and engaged all at the same time. And how do we do that? Well, we do that by being buffalo leaders, people who face the storms they are about to endure and going to them so that you can get through them. Not being a cow and ignoring them and turning away from them. And finally, the 2 behaviors that drive both of those things. Well, number 1 is empathy, the ability to understand the world around you, making sure that you are thinking about others, making sure that you are seeing what others need, and most importantly, asking yourself the question, what would I need if I were them? And finally, reflecting upon your actions and reactions every day. I am so excited about those of you who are joining me at the Smart Thinking Summer Leadership Retreat this summer, because day 1 is focusing on your own well-being as a leader. And one of my favorite tools this year that was created is a little pack of mindfulness cards. Questions you can ask yourself to start your day, like what do I get to do today for others? And then question to ask yourself at the end of the day, what did I do well for others today? That's reflection, and it's pretty simple. You just have to take the time to do it. Well, so, what is a vacation? A vacation means intentionally stepping away from your regular world, your regular work, your responsibilities or routines. It means to rest, recharge, and find joy for yourself. It can involve travel to a new place or staying home, a staycation, or simply doing things you love without the pressure of deadlines or obligations. And what we're going to explore today is it can also mean just turning off things in your life and stepping away from it all. Now, key elements to taking a vacation in place or out of place is number 1, to provide yourself some rest, giving your body and mind a break from daily stresses. My family always makes fun of me. We've never been on a vacation with our dad in our life because we don't rest. We're night skis. We were born caffeinated. We go, 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 go. But a vacation includes rest. So let's take a vacation. Second, it involves recreation. Engaging in enjoyable activities that bring you happiness, that distract you, that are intentional about getting your mind to think about other things so that you can be engaged. Third is disconnection, minimizing or eliminating work-related communication to fully unplug. Where I work, a few years ago, we actually had to sit down and have a conversation about creating disconnect for people who are on trips or on vacation or doing things with their family. You know, one of the most annoying things in the world that creates great disengagement for me is when other people send me emails knowing I'm gone, but it starts out with, "I know you're on vacation and I hope you're not reading this." You know I'm going to read it, so don't send it. Don't call, don't text, unless it's an emergency. And not for me, for all of us. But again, an unspoken expectation can never be met. So if you don't tell people, "Hey, listen, don't communicate with me while I'm gone unless you absolutely have to. You cannot move forward or there is a crisis." If you don't say it, well, then you're going to get emails and texts. "Hey, you don't have to answer this, but we just had a quick question." And you know you're going to get yourself engaged in whatever's communicated to you. So stop it. Put in place a norm. All right, so rest, recreation, disconnection, and then finally, rejuvenation. Returning to your usual life with more energy, creativity, and a fresh perspective. When you come back from a vacation, that's what it should feel like. At its core, a vacation is about prioritizing your well-being, mentally, emotionally, and physically. It's a pause that ultimately helps improve productivity, mood, and your life satisfaction. Now, okay, I've already gone pretty far without telling a story. So guess what time it is? It's time for a story. The story is a memory I had this morning as I was preparing for this podcast, and it's about my brother John. I'm the oldest of three brothers, Ted, Tom, and John. Theodore, Thomas, and Jonathan, or Teddy, Tommy, and Johnny. And the single sweetest man in my life was named John. From birth, he had a lively disposition and just wanted to be around you. He was a little chunker when he came out, and he became a pretty big man as he grew older. He was kind, caring, and very thoughtful, and really funny, like self-deprecating funny. He's bigger than both me and my brother Tom, and by the time he was in high school, he was huge compared to us. But he never intimidated anyone. He was that big, kind, gentle soul. He was also very generous. Every gift he gave to others was a source of kindness and thoughtfulness, and every gift had a story behind it because John was someone who thought more about you than himself, a truly selfless person. He always gave more than he had, right up until he passed away a few years ago. So this morning, while preparing to put this episode together, I heard a key line from this commercial in my head that made me smile with a tear in my eye, thinking about a very fun moment in my life created by my brother John. So when he was about 10 years old, there was this commercial that was always on TV for women, and it sparked something in him. Our mom, a teacher, was having a rough stretch in her classroom, and she was a special education teacher working in early childhood before she became a kindergarten teacher. And she would come home bearing the weight of what was going on in the lives of these young children that she was working with. Now, I don't know any of the details of why this happened because I was a junior in high school and likely not paying very close attention to anything going on other than, well, probably myself. So anyways, one day I come home and there's a bottle on the kitchen counter and it's all wrapped up. It's obviously a bottle and it's obviously been wrapped up by my brother John. I ignore it and I go about my day. However, later I hear my brother explaining to my mom that he got it for her because she needed to be like the lady on the commercial. This product, friends, is something that Gen Xers and older people will really, really remember, as well as the tagline.
Calgon, take me away!
Indulge yourself in Calgon luxury. Let Calgon soften and pamper you. It's like no other bath experience.
It's paradise.
Calgon, lose yourself in luxury.
So imagine my little 10-year-old brother, and he's got this bottle on the counter that's wrapped up, and my mom comes home from a long day at work, and he had ridden his bike, 10-year-old John, over to the PDQ, which was a little grocery chain in our area, and bought a bottle of Calgon. Calgon, take me away. This morning when I was out running, I was thinking about how we all need to take a vacation, and I couldn't stop hearing Calgon, take me away. Here's my mom coming home from a long day of work, and her very, very thoughtful and loving little son, John, rides to the grocery store, probably spends $7, well, no, there's no way it was $7 back then, probably $2.99, and brings home a bottle of Calgon so that my mom can take a long bath and put herself in a position like the lady on TV who just needed a little tiny vacation from the world she was having. I mean, the commercials of a very busy woman dealing with work and life balance, and the answer, per the advertising people, was, if you want great balance in your life, well, you take a bath in water filled with Calgon and topped with bubbles. I'm sure my mom needed that. I mean, 5 days away from her 3 sons would have probably been better, but a nice bottle of Chardonnay and a bath might have helped her clear her mind. It's just the intentionality of my brother being so thoughtful to get my mom something like that. Now, what are you going to do? What's your Calgon take me away? What are you going to do to intentionally provide yourselves with some balance? I mean, remember, we all need to take vacations from everything that is on our minds and in our hearts. We must invest in ourselves. We must push ourselves to establish and maintain boundaries. We must have a Calgon take me away type of a strategy for ourselves. And when I say I want you to take a vacation this summer, and it is an and proposition, not a you have to, I realize we can't all travel because we have a lot going on in our lives. However, we can take a vacation from things like email, social media, the news, negative people, pains in the caboose. I mean, we can take a vacation from those people. We can step away from the many narratives that are created in our head if we intentionally find ways in which to separate ourselves from these things. We can step away from all of these things because we can, and it's our choice. I mean, what good does it do to be constantly besieged with so many things beyond our control? It does no good. So, what can we focus on? You ready? It's pretty simple. Stop and look in the mirror. We can focus on ourselves for a little bit. We can take a vacation from all of those other things. And, well, how do we do that? We follow 4 simple steps based upon the research. And the research is pretty simple. Number 1, from an old book by Clark called Work-Family Border Theory, we set and protect boundaries. Our behavior is that we should establish clear work-life boundaries to avoid burnout. How do we do that? Well, we schedule off hours and we stick to them. We model healthy boundaries for our team and make sure that we're enforcing what we value. And we say no without guilt when we have to protect our lives and ourselves. The second thing that comes from an old Goleman book on emotional intelligence is to prioritize self-care routines. The behavior is pretty simple. We need to regularly engage in activities that recharge energy and support our well-being. And one of those activities might be to step away. Turn off Facebook. Stop watching the news. Just provide yourself some distance between the things that drive you in to make you think that you are in control of them, but they drive you crazy. What do you do to prioritize self-care? Well, you practice mindfulness or meditation. You ask yourself questions. You reflect. You exercise. You prioritize adequate sleep and nutrition. And you find friends that you can vent with positively to seek solutions and answers for. So 1, set and protect boundaries. 2, prioritize self-care routines. And 3, seek connection and support. Yeah, that's right. Maintain meaningful relationships inside and outside of the organization. And when I say organization, you know what I mean by that? Inside and outside of your family, inside and outside of work, inside and outside of all of your activities. Find people around you who have differing opinions, different ideas, who can challenge you in a positive way, who can make you think about what you're thinking about so that you can stop thinking about it. Whew, that was exhausting just saying out loud. So, set and protect boundaries, prioritize self-care routines, seek connection and support, and finally, engage in reflective practices. Take time to pause, reflect, and process emotions and experiences. Be intentional and purposeful about just carving yourself out some time to go stare at some water. And I don't mean a glass of water. I mean like a river, a pond, a lake. Find some time to go stare in nature. Find some time to just disconnect and be purposeful so that you can create that intentional disconnection. Do things like journal weekly or conduct weekly or monthly self-check-ins. Go back deep in the podcast and grade your life. There's a great activity in, the 200 episodes someplace. And finally, seek and use feedback for growth, not for guilt. These are things that come from old books like The Fifth Discipline. So, can you commit to that? Commit to yourself? Increasing your presence when you're with others? Stepping away from the media, real, fake, or social? Can you establish for yourself a routine this summer to find clarity in your head and your heart? Can you take a vacation? Can you take me away? If you're a teacher and in summer mode, remember that this time flies. And the more you spend it intentionally on vacation, from email, from Facebook or TikTok, and the more you read, walk, and love, well, the more you'll be filled with the things you need. The emotional energy, the resilience you're going to need when the challenges that are coming present themselves in the fall, winter, and spring of next year. Because this is the time to take a vacation. Okay, vacationers, let's do a couple of things. 1, let's commit to vacationing away from the things that we can and take the time to build up within ourselves more strength, a stronger soul, and a tougher spirit. Okay, how do we do that? Well, first of all, we need to find intentional ways to distract ourselves. One of my favorite ways to intentionally distract myself is to read. And I didn't do a book episode for you for the summer, so I'm going to give you 4 books right now to read. To 1, help frame your mind. 2, invest in yourself. 3, put yourself in a position where you can get lost in a story. And 4, start to think about how can you intentionally put yourself in a position to live longer. Okay, the first book is by Sarah Wynn Williams. It's called Careless People. This is a vacation book because what this will do is will help bring relevance to you on what you think you are or are not experiencing in the workplace. It's a cautionary tale of power, greed, and lost idealism. And what's it about? It's about Facebook. It's about the senior executives at Facebook, how they act, how they treat each other, how they present, what they do and what they don't do. And it's a first-person narrative off of the experiences of Sarah. It's a book that I read, and I was so grateful that I read it because as I read it, I listened to her story, her narrative, and I began to remind myself as a leader in an organization how important it is to put them and their families first. Because in the absence of that value, you can go south in a hurry and churn people up. This is a book that senior leaders should read and every leader should read. But I loved it as a senior leader because what it did was wait a minute, hold on a second. I keep calling myself a senior leader. That doesn't mean I'm old. It means I'm kind of higher up in the hierarchy. Okay, sorry, squirrel. Anyways, the book should be read by everyone because it's a cautionary tale of what happens when we find success, grow our ego, and forget that the people around us do not exist for us, but instead exist for themselves. Now, the second book, this is a great book. It's a book on character by General Stanley McCrystal. I've read a few of his texts, and while he is a military person and comes to everything from that angle, I will tell you that I really, really like this book because he has an equation in it, and he lives by and sticks to the equation. The equation is character equals convictions times discipline. And the book is filled with all of his observations and stories that reinforce this formula. Because conviction is what we believe. Discipline's our ability to follow through on it. And character, well, it is what we're willing to tolerate and what we are not. It's a very simple formula. And it's a really interesting text, especially if you're a history person. Now, the third book is a story that can just take you away. I don't think I've ever talked about this on the podcast, but I enjoy fishing. Not sitting in a boat, throwing out a bobber with a worm on it, casting and pulling. I enjoy fly fishing because it is the perfect sport for somebody with attention deficit hyperactivity gifts because you've got to be constantly thinking, constantly be strategizing, constantly be engaged. You can't just sit there and just quietly let it go. You've got to be working the fly. You've got to be working with the river. You've got to be thinking like a fish. So this book, Casting Forward by Steve Ramirez, is a really wonderful story. And it's just his journeys through West Texas and how he goes into the Texas Hill Country and fly fishes all these different creeks and rivers. However, it's a leadership book. Listen to this. We are all mayflies who pretend to be constellations. In the big scheme of things, we don't have long to get it right, and we must align our own stars. So I will leave the deadlines and multitasking to the idiots who care to waste their time flying towards the windshields of the universe. I mean, this book is well written and makes you think, and it's a good vacation book because as you read it, you're going to think about all the different things he's talking about, whether that be the rivers and the fish and the flies or the leadership metaphors found throughout. It's like going fishing with your grandpa or your grandma. Okay, the last book is by Eric Topol, and it is called Super Agers. Now, believe it or not, I found this while I was on TikTok listening to Oprah talk about it, and I was like, I'm going to get me a little of that book. And the reason is because Super Agers is an evidence-based approach to longevity. Now, friends, this book is not the easiest read because it is a combination of stories, metaphors, and medical research. And it's the medical research part that really engaged my learner. Part 1 of the book is the age of the health span. 2 is chronic killers. 3 is great implications. And 4 is thinking ahead. So it goes through all of the different ways in which the research is now showing us what we can do to increase our longevity with health. Okay, I have one record I need you to listen to. Last weekend when I was at Summerfest with Gracie, which I talked about on the last podcast, sweating it out, we went and saw Ben Rector. He has been a favorite of mine for a really long time. And he didn't get back to me, but I did ask him permission to use his song, but without his permission, I can't use his song. But the album is called The Richest Man in the World, and it is endearing because it's written by a young father, it's written about love, and it's just a fantastic album. But it's also a reflective one about how fortunate he is. So the song that you must listen to is called Someone Must Have Been Praying for Me. Oh my, will you love it? Okay. This is it. This is your opportunity this week to change your mindset, because your mindset is, I'm on vacation. Yeah, you are. Vacation from things like negativity, media, email, toxicity, people who suck the spirit from you and crush your soul. It's time to go on vacation and take a break and put yourself in a positive position, because you're in charge. I mean, yikes, this doesn't sound very Buffalo of me to talk about all of these things that we have to get off and get away from, but it actually is. It's time to run towards some balance. The storm is likely created by, well, ourselves. Bad moments, hit social media, and then you'll make it worse. Bad moments, well, go find other people in misery and join in their chants. Or take a vacation, go to the storm. Get through it with intention and find yourself in the sunshine of your own creation. So let's do some smart thinking. Describe what you can vacation from. List the alternatives you can fill in the time with while you're on vacation. And finally, list the investments you'll make in yourself while you take your vacation. That's it. That's the Smart Thinking Podcast. Hey, as always, thank you so much for listening. And thank you for making sure that others hear this message when they need it. I appreciate you helping me, helping others, which helps me be a better leader. Because then I get to think about what we can talk about and the smart thinking we can do together. Also, please make sure to share this episode with others and rate it on whatever platform in which you listen. And finally, thank you to the Well Pennies. Another season of the Well Pennies letting me use their music. Another season of Golden Bear Studios dropping some singles off of their different artists that they're producing. And another season of ending each episode upbeat and with joy. All right, my vacation. Well, the power of a vacation is about to be found, because I found over the course of my career that I never knew how much I needed a vacation until I was on one. I can't tell you how many times I'm on my second or third day and I wake up in the morning and I get up in my normal rush and I go work out and I go for my run and I come back and it's like 7:30 in the morning and I think to myself, wait a minute, it's only 7:30. And then it's 10 o'clock and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's only 10 o'clock. Because most of my days, like yours, are bang, 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 bang. And we all need to take a vacation once in a while. So let's be proactive this year. You don't have to go anywhere, but just take vacations from things that don't make you better. Like, you can take a vacation from cake. That would be dumb, but cake doesn't make you better. It makes you feel good for a moment, but you could take a vacation from it and take care of your body. You could take a vacation from sitting around, get up and walk around. You could take a vacation from Facebook. Let's take vacations to other places and other people instead. Get up and move. Go find people. Increase your network. Let's find ways to take time and invest in ourselves. Seriously, why do we wait too long and find ourselves in regret? Plan for it. Find partners. Be intentional. Step out of the loops you're stuck in, either in your head or in life, and move yourself forward into the world you want. Now, I am going on vacation from a lot of things, but I'm also going to go do a bunch of stuff. I'm going to travel around. Many of you, I'll be visiting you in Virginia and Arkansas, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Michigan, California, all over the place. But this summer, I am taking a vacation. The kids and I and Megan, the kids, my young adult children who live with us, are going to Washington, D.C. for the 4th of July. We're going to go there for the fireworks, go to a baseball game, just get ourselves away from it all and get ourselves distracted. From there, we're going to drive down to Charleston, South Carolina. So if any of you are listening in South Carolina, I'll be there. We're going to be on the beach. Oh, and I'm going to drive my family crazy because I'm good at vacationing for about 4 hours. And then after that, I got to move. So I read for a little bit and then we move. I'm going to head out to Colorado on my way back, stop in Lincoln, Nebraska after visiting Estes Park. I'm going to get my hiking in. And the reason is because I have to do this. Just like you, I've got to get up and move around, and I've got to take a vacation. Now, my vacations are because I'm in a blessed season of my life, and I get to do these things. But they also teach me some great lessons, and I run into some amazing people on those trips because I'm intentional while I'm on vacation to disconnect from my current life and create another life. All right, I have a plan. I'm going to disconnect from those in my life that don't want to be there, that don't want to be positive, that don't want to grow, that don't want to take risks and challenge the problems they face. Oh, I will reconnect with them, and it'll be overwhelming for them because I'm going to be thinking about all the ways in which I can motivate them, get them moving, all the different smart thinking strategies and processes we can put in place. Because I'm like a solar-powered battery. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to read, I'm going to hike, I'm going to climb, I'm going to pray, I'm going to reflect, I'm going to love, and I'm going to regenerate my obnoxious optimism in the next 2 weeks. Just so you know, you've been warned. I normally take July off from the podcast, but I've done a few interesting interviews in the last few weeks, so I'm going to drop those in over the course of the month of July. They're authors of leadership books based upon their own life experiences that are very encouraging, and there's a lot in there we can take from. I'm looking forward to the Smart Thinking Retreat here in a couple of weeks in the middle of July, where a few hundred of you are going to besiege Port Washington, and those of you coming, get ready. It's going to be awesome. Emily Lorenz from Gallup will be there. I've got 16 different tools, some cool reflection cards, some great processes, and it will be some very deep conversations on how we can support our personal well-being and the well-being of the places we work. Take me away. Don't ask someone else to do that for you. Get your own bubble bath. Draw your own bath. Create your own vacation. It's the people who are sitting around waiting that are the cows in our lives. So run past them and pull them along with you. We're not going to sit around and wait. Nope, not us. You know why? Because we're buffaloes. We create the conditions for our success. We charge for it. We bring process to our problems, and we find joy in the journey. You got this, friend. Learn, grow, and go. Go to the storms you're facing, challenge them, take them on, and then when you're done, take a vacation. Because everybody deserves a bubble bath.
There you go, tapping at my window. There you go, rattling my heart. Far away, I wanna go with you. Every day, never be apart. When you're feeling empty, when the skies are gray, I will be your honey, chase the blues away. And let's go out for a drive. Need a little sunshine, need a little sunshine. What a day for feeling alive. Want a little more time, just a little more time with you. Here we are, sitting by the sidewalk. Here we are, whistling a song. Close your eyes, I'll dream away with you. Lullabies, humming right along. When you're feeling lonely, when the stars are dim, I will love you only, love you to the end. Let's go out for a drive. Need a little sunshine, need a little sunshine. What a day for feeling alive. Want a little more time, sunshine. Need a little sunshine.